Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. I hope everyone made it through the Super Bowl. Hope you are watching. I am Nicole Harvick. I am your host for the Change Book International podcast, and I come on here every Monday with a new author to highlight. And today we've got an amazing one. So I want to introduce you to Esther Jones-Alley. Welcome, Esther. How are you today?
I am marvelous. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. I can't wait to get started with you. But one of the questions I want to know is you are one of our writers in the Change Book. How did you decide to become an author in our book?
Well, I was invited, first of all, and just hearing about it and seeing the legacy of it um, made me decide that this was the right place for my message.
I
So
love that.
that was how I made the decision, and I'm excited about really honing in on that message. I think I think its time has come.
Yeah, and you know what? You and I talked a little bit before we got started, and I'm not going to give it away. The only
Right.
thing I'm going to say is I 100% agree with you, and I cannot wait to read your chapter. And everybody else out there should be waiting in anticipation for that book to come out. So let's
Thank
get
you.
started with you. You know, you are a spiritual architect. And I absolutely love that term. That is so clever. How did you come up with that? What does it mean?
Actually, I didn't. It was dropped into my consciousness.
Ooh.
I didn't come up with it. I have been going by the title of spiritual life coach,
Hmm.
and Spirit said, "No, you're a spiritual architect." What does an architect do? It lays out the plans in order for the building to be built. So that's what I do with my clients. I help them to write their spiritual plan for their life and how they want to rebuild and structure their relationship with the divine, because they are the divine. And by doing that, it helps them to come to that realization that they are everything and everything is them. So,
Oh.
yeah.
And that brings in the topic of how powerful we are as human beings.
Oh, oh, oh.
Keep talking.
We have, it amazes me. We have no clue. Most people have no clue of the power. It is their power that is holding this construct together. And when you don't know the power you have, that leaves you open for someone else to use your power. And that's what's been happening on this earth. That other powers that created this construct, that created this game, have been running it based on our power because of the social indoctrination that happens from the time you come in. You come in as pure love, and then they begin to program you to think, to act, to be something totally opposite than what you are. And
That
so
so true. I agree with you
becoming
100%.
aware, as we become aware, and that's what's happening with the energy that has flooded Mother Earth, because Mother Earth natural place is 5D, and there were things that caused it to end up in 3D, but we're back, and people are beginning to ask questions and wake up, so they will begin to experience, and I call it the magic,
Ooh,
because it is magic.
it is.
They will begin to experience the gifts and the powers that they have within them, that they brought here, that they came with. That's a natural way of being. We have the ability to create universes, not just worlds, but universes. We are creators. That's what we are. We're not manifestors, we're creators. And once we begin to create and allow it to manifest in our reality, but it starts with the creation.
And I love that. And I was talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about how their life was in the garbage can. And one thing I want to hear from you on is when we talk about create, our inner world creates our outer world. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, I just want to go back to the place where you said your friend said her life was in a garbage can. Wherever you find your behind, your mind put it there. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, um, yeah, your outer world is a direct reflection of what you're thinking. And I tell people all the time, think only what you desire to create, because the universe does not differentiate with good, bad, up and down. There is no duality, there is no contrast at the universal level. And so, people find themselves, oh, this happened and that. Nothing just happens. The universe is exact in everything. There is no there is no coincidence, there's no accident. People look and say, oh, this was no, that was thought up through someone, whether they were conscious of it or not. And the key is consciousness. You have to be conscious of what you're thinking and saying. Our words are spellcasters. When we speak, we're casting spells all around us. So, what are you speaking? What are you thinking? How are you being? You know, people are so busy doing, they're not realizing, what are you being? And then being is what you're creating. We are natural creators, and it doesn't matter whether it's what you wanted or what you didn't. If you're not conscious, you're creating all kind of craziness in your life and not even realizing that it's coming from you. You're thinking it just happened. Nothing just happened. There's no, little magicians up there making shit happen. It happens because you're thinking it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's
And
happened because you refuse to mind your mind.
exactly.
It's
And
happening because
yeah. And even my
you're
ex
not
used,
taking full responsibility for the power that you will.
and
So,
if someone would just let that absorb into them, that they can create their surroundings. How, I mean, that's consciousness, to understand that you can create. Talk to us about conscious living some more.
and conscious living is being conscious of what you're speaking, what you're thinking, and what you're creating. And here's the thing, a thought will show up and we start thinking, right?
Mhm.
And once you start thinking, you'll destroy the pureness of that thought, because you're thinking that what you call thinking is usually stinking. And what it's going to do, it's going to break it down to tell you why you can't have it and why you can't do it or why it's impossible and this is going to happen and what you need, all that. That's the thinking. But when the thought shows up, rather than thinking, go into imagination and start imagining all the possibilities. Our imagination has been thwarted, it has been capped. We don't do it. Look at a little child as they play. They are building cities, they're doing all kind of things because they're in their imagination. And in imagination is where you reach the field of unlimited possibilities, unlimited potential.
Absolutely.
But we don't do that. We'll think a thought. And I say a thought is creation. Thinking is destruction, because that thinking is going to destroy that thought. But when you have the thought, close your eyes and daydream about it. Imagine the possibilities and watch the universe put it into action. Because once you put that thought into the universe, it begins to immediately conspire to bring it forth. That thought of something greater. And I tell people all the time, you have to put your order in. You're not going to go to a restaurant and sit there and that food's going to magically appear. You have to order it. And then you don't get up and go tell the the chef how to cook it, do you? No, no. You allow it to come. We have to put the thought into the universe and then allow it to come to us. Open ourselves to receive the goodness that is naturally ours. Open ourselves and allow.
I
But
know.
no, we'll put that order in, and then we proceed to tell the universe how to bring it to you.
Yeah, that's my thing is speak your truth. What do you want? Get out of the way.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If you knew how to do it, you should have just did it and not asked. But you don't. So put the order in and wait on it because it's coming.
It's coming. I believe. Can
Forget
you
about
give us
the how. See, people
yeah,
talk about how this. Forget about the how and
doesn't
just wait on
matter.
the wow. Because it's
Yeah, I
coming.
love that. I love that.
It's
Can you
coming.
give us an example of something that you have created for yourself?
Oh, how
How did
many
it?
examples? How
Yeah,
many?
I know it's only a half-hour show, but just
How many examples? I live this. This is how I live. And it's I can go from the big to the small. I moved here from Seattle about 2 years ago, and I had been living in a house that had been in a legal battle since 2008 when the stock market crashed and there was a bad loan on the house. And I had a audit done on it, and Bank of America picked up all the loans from the people that had put the loan on the house. And I gave them the audit. I said, this is not what I signed. They changed it, right? So Bank of America said, don't worry, don't pay nothing until we figure this out. In the meantime, I got an attorney to help me deal with them. And it took them months before they got back to me. No, not months. I want to say maybe 2 years.
oh
I'm
wow.
not paying no mortgage. They
Yeah.
get back to me. By that time, my attorney had pulled a title audit. Title was clouded.
The-
At any rate, by the time they got back to me, they wanted me to sign some other kind of restructuring loan. I said, no, if I do that, I can't even sell this place because the title's clouded. Okay, we'll figure it out. Another couple of years, they didn't get back to me. What they did was they took the loan and sold it to a collection mortgage company, right? They tried to foreclose, they couldn't. Long story short, 14 years. 14 years I fought with them, did not pay one. Wait a minute, it gets better. Did not pay one penny in mortgage. Go to Costa Rica to do plant medicine because I was going to go to Egypt, and Spirit said, no, I want you to go here first, and I want you to take a journey with the mother. The mother tells me to let the house go because I got better things in store for you, right? So I come back. It was in the appeals court, and they came back and ruled against me. I said, I'm not going to call my lawyer. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to let it go like Spirit said. Do you know those people paid me to give them the house back?
No way.
Yes. Yes.
After living that long, not
Yes.
doing anything.
You asked me how. Listen, I get back. I don't do nothing. This is in July. Finally, a real estate guy get in touch with me and says, we'll give you cash for keys. I said, how much? He said about 25 to 3,000. I said, no, go back and tell them I want 15. Now, I knew they wouldn't give me 15,000, but I knew they'd meet me in the middle. Okay. They gave me 8,500, which was my moving cost from the West Coast to the East Coast. You ask me what I do? This is how I live my life. This is how I live my life. I've traveled for the last 2 years. I've been mostly out of the country doing spiritual work. So when you allow the universe to bring you what it is you desire, you're on purpose. I'm more on purpose in my life now than ever before. I'm healthy. I'm way. I ain't going to tell you how old I am, but I take no medication.
I don't either. I won't.
You know what? And sometimes things be going all kind of haywire, and I just talk to my body and say, look, we ain't got time for that. We ain't got no time for that. Okay? The beautiful thing is that I know that I am I am on purpose. I am here for that. And whatever it is you desire is yours if you can believe and receive it. But most people can't. They're so indoctrinated with what society tells you. You got to work hard. You da 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 da. All these stories, and it's not so.
No,
It's not so.
absolutely not.
We are creators, and we're more powerful than we ever know. All we have to do is allow that, allow the magic to happen in our lives.
Absolutely. It's just there
Allow.
waiting for us, isn't it?
Oh, you know, and it don't. It listen. It ain't gonna take weeks. Trust me. Sometimes I sit up here and I like the other week I had last year I had 2 trips left on my calendar, and I was like, yeah, well, my account ain't looking like that's gonna happen. I said, well, universe, you put that on there, you need to take care of it. Within an hour or two, I found money that I didn't even know was mine. I had completely forgot it, but the spirit led me right to it. And I was like, oh, you doing it like that now? Okay, I'll
Yeah.
take that.
But however,
But you
and
understand, that's the beauty of it. I'm getting ready to go to India, and honest to God, I go into this account and I'm thinking it's like 2,000, and it was 6,000. I'm like, where did this money come from? I cannot anywhere in my psyche remember putting that money there, but it was there.
I've had that happen as well.
It was there, and I was like, okay, y'all got jokes, so that's okay. I'm going with it. You
I'll take
understand
it.
what I'm
I'll
saying?
take it. No, and that's just how easy it is. So, I've had those experiences. You sit there and you like look at yourself for a minute, like, hey, it is what it is. I asked for it, I got it.
And the whole the what it is that your all of your desires, you need nothing but desires. Want for nothing, because when you want for something, that's telling the universe you don't have it.
Right.
But we already have everything that we desire. We just have to match that the frequency of that thing that we're desiring. Because when we desire, we're telling the universe, I want more of what I already have. Everything that we could ever, once you think of it, it's created.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The
Absolutely.
thought creates, and I cannot express that. The thought creates, and you
Yeah.
may not see it because you're not vibrating at that frequency as of yet, but accept it, stand in gratitude for it, and watch it show up.
Absolutely. Now, there was something in your bio called the Soul Evolution Matrix.
Oh, that's my program that I work with when I work with one-on-one clients. And what it
Tell
does,
me, yeah, I think everybody's about ready to hear a lot about that.
and what it does, it takes you through a process. There's like a 3-step with a 3 point in each of those process of first recognizing that you don't love yourself. Let's
Mhm.
clear that up, because we're not taught to love ourselves. And most people think they love themselves, but they don't. And then they think they're loving somebody else, but you can't give something you don't have, right? So I start there and start working with your limiting beliefs, the stories you've been telling yourself or that's been told to you, clearing out the old program, right? And then the next step we go to is, now let's start looking at who and what you truly are, and how you're going to work through that. And then the final piece is helping them to step in to creating and living that life that they truly desire. It's much more in depth than that, but I'm
Oh,
just
sure.
giving you a quick overview. So it's a 3-step process. First, we clean out. We have to clean out all that stuff, and I give them exercises that help them understand what it is to love themselves and to really truly meet themselves, right? And once you begin to love yourself, you don't have to worry about finding love or any that your light, that's what turns the light on. That's what starts the light to emanate. And people just come to you because they
Yes.
see your light. And
Yes.
that's the love. Because we are love. We're pure love. And then we go to the next step, how to use that, how to understand that you are a creator, how to start to create the life that you desire. And sometimes, there's breakups or or you meet someone, all kind of things are happening through this process. And then the final process is truly stepping in to that divine being that you are, opening up and understanding that you are not a human having a spiritual experience. You are a soul having a human experience. You know,
Absolutely.
we created these bodies so that we could experience this dimension, because it's only in the third. This planet is only in all of the galaxy where they can experience the emotions, where they can experience um, what it feels like to cry, or to be betrayed, or to be loved.
Right. The
This is
gamut
what
of
this is all
emotions. And
about.
that's how we
This
learn.
this is the real Riviera of the universe. That's what it was meant to be, and they kind of got confused. So we got to clean that up.
Yeah.
The point is that
Yes.
that whole process brings you to really embracing and knowing that you are a divine soul that has always been and always will be.
I,
So,
and that's so true. But one of the things I want to mention is I learned to love myself through forgiveness, because I was going
mhm,
through a very bad divorce and started practicing forgiveness for my ex. And I realized, well, wait a minute, I'm pretty mad at myself for some of the things. Switch to me. And I have to tell you, self forgiveness led me to self love. And I want to mention to you and see if you think that my looks changed.
yes,
My looks changed when I
yes,
started loving myself,
yes,
forgiving myself, and really
yes.
understanding who and what I was.
You started looking younger. You got
I
cuter.
did. I did. I have a
See, when
side by side picture of me.
people think they have the power to forgive someone else, that's not where it's at.
Right.
It's forgiving yourself, because nothing can happen, and nothing comes into your world that you don't call in on some level. And all of that stuff that we think is bad and trauma and all that, we created that so that we could remember who we are. And so people get stuck in these traumas and thinking, oh, somebody did this to me, or this happened. When you start saying that someone did something to you, you become a victim.
Exactly. Exactly.
And there
And
are no victims in the universe except those that choose to be.
mhm.
I always tell my clients, I know this seems really terrible, but what I want you to do is, let's turn this around and look at it from a standpoint of, what did that help me remember? What did I learn? What pearls of wisdom can I pull from that? And then what happens is, like you said, I realized, oh, I could see the part that I played. I see how this was created. And
Yes.
I can forgive myself. See, because when you are sitting around talking about, I'm not going to forgive you for what you did to me, honey, you're holding the hot coal and thinking they're going to get burned. It's you that's
Exactly.
going to get burned. If
Exactly.
people started to forgive themselves and stop worrying about forgiving someone else, we could eradicate cancer. We could eradicate all of these major diseases, because they're coming from unforgiveness, bitterness, hatred, all these low vibrating energies set in the body and stop the natural flow of light and
E.
energy in us, and begin to destroy where it gets stuck. It began to create more stuckness, more bad cells, and eating up the body. All of that's coming from anger, bitterness, sadness, all the lies that we tell ourselves. But then we want to go and take all these pharmaceuticals and think it's going to heal us. No, it might ease that symptom, but it's destroying something else that you can't see, you know?
Exactly. Hmm.
And that's why it's
Agreed.
so important that we begin to wake up and understand that self-forgiveness is the balm that we need to heal our sick souls.
Our soul. And I
Yeah.
look back now and I say my experience with divorce and everything I went to, it didn't happen to me, it happened for me because it changed
Through
my
you,
whole life
through you, not just for you, but through
through
you.
you. Yes.
Yes. And see,
Yeah.
people always thinking it's happening to them, but it's happening through them. And when you can understand, oh, I'm creating, then you can stop it. You know, oh, I can change this. Let me change this up.
Yeah. From victim to victor, your
Thank
choice.
you. And people need to understand what that means, you know, because
Yeah.
it does take work. It takes consistency. It takes a commitment to yourself to live this every day. And it doesn't mean that things aren't going to come into your world, but you have a choice of how you deal with it. You have a choice of whether you deal with it or you let it deal with you.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Absolutely beautiful. And
yeah.
Esther, we're already at the end, almost at the end of our 30 minutes. And I knew this was going to go really, really fast because you are talking my language. But
Thank
one
you.
of the things, I mean, everything that you talk about, so important, so important. But as we get ready to leave this conversation, give us one or two nuggets that like someone can place in their heart.
Number one, you're always at choice. You're always at choice. Even when you say, I don't have a choice, you're making a choice. And that is one of the greatest gifts that we have is the ability to choose. So choose wisely how you will live your life.
Beautiful.
The other thing is remember, we are creators and we're creating all the time, all the time. Thought is creation, thinking is destruction. So when you have the thought, step into the world of your imagination, reignite your imagination, and watch the beauty that you can create in the world.
Wow, so profound. And I just want people to absorb what Esther has said and think about this because she has given us so many amazing tips today. And I have put a way to connect with her in her bio. This is a lady you need to reach out to.
Thank you.
You can make a whole world change, you know. You're amazing, and I am so honored to have interviewed you today. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for being on here. I
Thank you.
so appreciate you. And one of the things we like to do here on the Change Book podcast is bring authors back. Check in on them. What have you done? What have you accomplished? And I know you will be one of those that I will be getting a hold of again.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much. I've
welcome.
enjoyed our time together. It is always such a blessing to meet like minded people.
It
And
is. It is.
it's such a blessing, such a
Well,
blessing.
thank you so much. And I would suggest everyone looking up Esther, connect with her, let her pour her wisdom into you. And also, I would ask today, I have a very special podcast coming up. It is with one half of our Changebook founder, Jim Britt. If you'd like to join me here at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it'll be streaming live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and our YouTube channel. So, Esther, thank you for being here.
Thank
I
you.
will see everyone again
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you so much.